In this video we're going to start looking at OR gates and combinations of gates to produce a larger truth table. So we're going to do pretty much the same that we did in the first combined logic video. We are going to duplicate this one first so that we've got something to work with. I'm going to move the AND gate out of the way because we're only dealing with the OR gate, and let's do the same that we did with the AND gate. Let's just copying things. There we go. Let's do the OR gate first and then not the result. So there's the building of the OR gate, and then we're going to not the output of that. So there's the diagram. So I'm now going to label it. So that's my A input. You could call these anything you want really, just A and B seems more sensible. Q seems to be something that they use a lot in Boolean algebra just for the fun of it. And what we need to do again here is insert a column to the right and stretch that table because we've got a kind of intermediate point here. So let me copy this. There we go, and let's label the intermediate point. So at this point it is A or B. Shrink that down a bit so it fits. There we go. So at that point it's A or B. So I'm going to write in my truth table A or B. And now I'm going to fill out the patterns as before. So it's 0 and 0, 0 and 1, 1 and 0, and 1 and 1. So if you go back to the early videos when we did the truth table just for OR gates, not gates and AND gates, then you will have found out that A or B means that A needs to be 1 or B needs to be 1, or both of them need to be 1 for that intermediate result there to be 1. So the only time it's not 1 is when both of them are 0. So that would be 0 there. The rest of the time, because B is 1 there, we get a 1. Because A is 1 there, we get a 1. Because both of them are 1, we get a 1. So all I've got to do now is not the result. Now I don't need these anymore, so I'm going to delete them for the time being so that you can see clearly. I should have done this in the first video, I didn't. So really I'm just going to not this result. So that is a 0, that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 0, that's going to be a 0, that's going to be a 0, and that is my truth table for it. So I can put these back in just to tidy it all up. I only took those out just to make it clear what I was operating on. There we go. Now I've got to write my equation. So I've got my diagram, I've got my truth table, I need my equation. And to begin with, we did the OR gate, A or B. Now we did that first, so remember the Bodmer's equation. We are doing algebra, we're doing Boolean algebra. And if you remember, we knotted the result, so we don't put it on the back, we actually put it on the front, not A or B. So there we go. That was a quick demonstration for the first OR gate. I'm going to do the same that I did for the AND gate. In other words, I'm going to invert the input. So let me duplicate this and quickly put things together. So I had, let's get a copy of that before I begin. So what I had was an inverted one, so I'm going to shrink that down. There we go. Invert that. There's my output for it. Go on, you can fit on. And then I go into my OR gate and I need another one of those. This time stretch it. Let's make that a little tidier. Keep it up a bit. And I want one of those on the output. Perfect. Let's move that out of the way. Let's label them. So that is A. That is B. And that is Q. Don't forget I've got an intermediate point here because I've been through one gate, so I need another one. Let's just copy this Q. There we go. And I can rewrite whatever's in there, the text. So at this point what I've got is not A. Whoops. There we go. So at that point I'm not A. I'm going to put an extra column in my truth table. This is not necessary. You can do it without. You can work through the logic on here and just fill out from A and B whatever Q is. However, as the equations and diagrams get more difficult, you'll find it much easier to sort of do this in stages so that you get a decent result. So I'm going to insert a column to the right and I'm going to call that not A. Give myself some space and then I'm going to go through the familiar 0, 0, 0, 1. Hopefully you're getting used to this pattern by now. What is it? 1, 1. Whoops. That's me pressing all sorts of strange things on my keyboard. Right, so I've got my inputs on this side, so I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to go through this gate and get whatever not A is. And I'm going to hide this as I've done in a couple of the other videos so you can see what we're working on. If I've got A here being 0, not A is going to be 1, 1, 0 and 0. Now I'm going to put this one back in, which was 0, 1, 0, 1. Now I'm at this point, I've got a not A and I've got my B. So really I'm just looking at these two here. So I'm going to hide this for clarity. And then I'm going to work on it, and this is the OR gate. So if any one of these are 1, the output is 1. So that one is a 1 there, so the output is a 1. That's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 0, and that's going to be a 1. And just put my A's back in so you can see the full truth table. So there we go, we've got the truth table for this diagram. We just need to do the equation. Let's pull that up. So this time we're doing A or B. We're not going through a gate first. We're only knotting it first, and what we're knotting is the A. So not A or B is the equation for this truth table. So I'm going to set you some equations to try for yourself in the next video. However you want to do it, you can do sort of PowerPoint like I've done, or you can do it on paper and take a photograph, or you can stick it online in Office 365, or you can attach it to show my homework and send. Whatever you do, I'm going to ask you to be doing some truth tables and possibly drawing some diagrams. You might need these symbols, so I will make those available to you and tell you where you can get them. So, it's up to you. Good luck.